What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for some trade recaps. Today, I already made a trade recap video earlier, but I'm going to get you another one because we took some more trades. And yeah, of course, we traded CLOV because it was going nuts again towards the close. So yeah, trading CLOV into the close. We tried a breakout here that we ended up stopping out on. So we basically just bought this breakout here of this candle. As it broke with volume, I thought maybe this would be a good place to enter, and this would start acting as support, this 2150. So I bought kind of the 2150, knowing that if it broke below that with conviction that I would be getting out, which it did. So I was out of the trade, relatively small loss, not much major to talk about there. After that, CLOV kind of consolidated for a bit near the VWAP, and then we started to get a breakout here. And as it broke above this 2120 here, so this 2130, 2120 area, I was looking to get long. And so as soon as I saw this volume come in, I jumped in, and this thing shot up back up to the 23s, and I was looking to get out kind of in the 2250s, but it shot down so quick that I ended up getting filled kind of closer to the 22, which was fine. It was still a decent win, still like a 70-cent win on most of the shares. But then I just got right back in again because I knew that this thing looked strong, so I wanted to get in at 22 again. So then I'm at 22 again, and I'm covering towards 23. And, both of these trades were, well, I should say 3 trades, I guess. I don't know how many. Because I basically bought here, sold, bought again, sold half, bought half, sold the rest of the position. All of them were winners. Some of them not that big, but most of them at least were 40, 50-cent winners. There was just too much resistance up towards 23. It was not going to break it, so I wasn't going to hold, hoping that it would break out when it was just looking incredibly weak. So that was CLOV there, and you can see in the post-market, in the aftermarket, it's starting to rip. So this thing could go to 27 in the aftermarket. We'll see. But it ripped to 25 and had huge resistance. So if you guys are looking to trade this in the close, look for 25 to be hard resistance. And if it can break above that, then the 25 will start acting as support. So we'll see what happens, but that'd be a interesting stock to look at. But what I want to talk about in this video real quick is the other trade that I took towards the close, and also the report that came out about this company that is not good. It's not looking good. So that's the company Lordstown Motors. They are a EV stock, electric vehicle company. They are basically in a startup phase, you could say, because they're not at the stages of a company like Tesla or even NIO that they actually have production. They actually have, a large infrastructure built. And this report, so I'll go over the report real quick, and then I'll go over the trade so that you guys kind of get where my head was at. So they came up with this report, and it says that Lordstown Motors amends annual filing with going concern notice. So what this means is that they're warning the public that in this annual filing, they're basically admitting that they don't have enough they don't have enough cash to facilitate their commercial production. So they're basically running on not enough cash. They're going to probably go bankrupt before they can even start production on their electric truck. And this, it's probably going to lead to a really big crash in the stock, and it already did. And so that's what I took advantage of in this trade that I'm going to go over in a second. But when you kind of get a report like this, and really there wasn't much behind it. It just kind of, I think that because the annual filing, and they didn't really admit this, people had to kind of read between the lines. So a lot of people just came to the conclusion that this is going to bankrupt the company, or that they're insufficient amount of cash unless they can get serious amount of backers to come in and kind of keep them afloat. They're probably going to end up going the way of the prehistoric and the non-relevant stocks that end up in the post heap of the stock market graveyard, which Lordstown will probably soon be joining them. So heavily shorted on the day, heavily shorted in the aftermarket, it seems. I probably should have just held this last short, or I should say the only short that I had, because I initially took the short here after I saw. So the report came out and you had this big crash and it got halted. So after the halt, you saw these attempts to try and break out. But once it broke back below the halt price with a lot of volume, you could tell that this thing was just going to keep selling off. So when this thing popped, I wanted to kind of get in towards the 1150s and just kind of see if I could get a nice move down. But it unfortunately kind of ripped up, so I stopped out before it could rip above 12 and kind of start going higher, in case people wanted to catch a nice VWAP bounce or something. I didn't want this thing to run back up to 13, so I was out. But then once it held this kind of low and couldn't break above the prior candle there, so then it ripped back down, I got right back in at 1150. So basically the same price that I was shorting here, I'm back in shorting again, and then it gives me the move that I was looking for, which is a rip down below 11 towards the 1070s. I covered most of my shares in the 1080s, and yeah, see the trade here. So covered here in the 1080s. So that was a nice 70-cent win. 50 shares. The first one I lost about 10, and then I made about 40 in that trade. So up about over 100 on the day. Not a bad day of trading for sure. One of my better days of trading. And yeah, thanks for watching, guys. I don't know what else to say about Ride other than I'm probably going to be shorting it tomorrow. I'm going to be looking to short it tomorrow. I hope I can short it tomorrow. There might not be shares available, which would really suck. That was what was happening to CLOV when it was hitting this 25. I was trying to short it, and unfortunately I couldn't get that short, so I was only trading it long, which was fine. I made money, but if I could have got this short to the downside, it would have been a really, really nice day. But either way, it is what it is. Thanks for watching, guys. Feel free to like and subscribe, and come back to join me for another trade recap.